Ooh, that looks tasty.
Welcome folks to The Hungry Gamer is back with another playthrough, and today we're doing a playthrough of Catharsis Saga 3 Bewildered. And this is a special fun one to me because I actually played a small part in the creation of the character that comes in this particular saga, and that is Flazz, the mixer, and Bogg the dog. And if you're thinking it looked a little like Beatrice the board game dog, you would be right. And the idea here is that Flazz is an alchemist and Bogg is his trusty dog who helps him out. Goes out, gets supplies for him, and so on and so on. And the enemy that comes in this one, right here, was partially created by Todd, who used to work with Quackalope, though now he's off on his own, and he was part of the team that brought Rove to Kickstarter. And so I'm pretty excited to actually get to play this saga on the channel. Now, I got some feedback on the last one I did, which actually said that people kind of wanted me just to get straight to the action and not spend as much time reading through the story. However, I like having the story, so what I'm going to do is, as I'm playing through, I will put the card up in the corner, somewhere up around here, and actually I'll slide everything over a little bit so we can do that. So people can read that as they would like, and I'll just give kind of a summary of what is going on. So in this particular scenario, what's happening is, obviously there's corruptions everywhere, and in this one particular forest, we meet this caravan that comes out, and they have these eggs that are yellow and red. And these eggs are taking the place of the usual morale, because you can eat one of these eggs, and it acts just like a morale, refreshing everything. However, if I ever run out of all the eggs here, then we are consumed by thoughts of the eggs, and we will lose. And we start with 10 pink and 10 yellow. And we're heading into the forest to kind of find out what's going on. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how Flazz and Bogg work, and you can see up there bits of the story kind of passing by. It's kind of a big chunk there. And this is an interesting new type of character, because you can see these are listed as S for strength, D's for defense, and U's for utility. And as you can see on the back of the card, it also says that. And if I ever have to replace a card, I replace it with the same type. So in theory, if I'm fully healthy, I'll have 2 strengths, 2 defense, and 2 utilities. And the power of Flazz, the passive is, I always get 1 ingredient. And you'll see they're each named after a different type of ingredient. So an S, a D, or a U. And then for each power that I activate, that will give me another ingredient. So if I flip over the pedal here, that gives me a U, and I can always pick one. I have an S, and then maybe I activate this one as well, so I have SUU. Then I can look here at my little chart here and activate that potion, because that means I've crafted a potion. So the SUU would be for each ability that is activated by a target player next round, I also get to make an attack dealing 1 damage. And then you will also notice, if you look a little closer, that each ability has a dog ability. And when I flip the card over, 1, I obviously lose that passive, but by flipping it, I get the ability to do one of 2 things. I can either gain yet another ingredient, which gives me the potential to have 4 ingredients, which allows me to craft these epic potions down at the bottom, or I can adjust any one of my dice to any value of my choice. However, when this is flipped over, I actually gain the boosts that go with Bogg, or the dog abilities here. And then the last thing is, just doing a morale refresh does not flip my roll back over. Rather, as I'm playing, I have to just spend 3 dice, and that will allow me to flip it over. So a little more flexibility, but this particular character is pretty expensive on the dice because every single ability costs 3, period. So with all that said, let's jump right in. We've already talked about the basic setup there, and we jump right into a monster, a hungry bear. And as we were kind of jumping in here, the thing that was in the story talked about that this bear came by and was rummaging through our supplies and kind of ruining things. So this is just me. And now I have to say, this is a harder character to play, and it's one that, to me, kind of strikes me as one that does really well with multiple players. In fact, I played with Original Don this past weekend, and we did pretty darn well, but I've yet to win on this particular quest with just Flazz and Bogg. So we shall see how this goes. So to start out, and just as a reminder, this monster also has 1 armor. So here we go. We'll jump in and let's see how we do here. This may be a very quick playthrough, but hopefully not. So one thing I do have is I have this ability to do armor shred. And I think I'm going to jump right in on that over here with this gold dust. So I'm going to be destroying his armor, blocking a little damage, and dealing 2 more damage. And that's going to be a D. And so I think I want to try to get this warrior blood over here with a 2-2-3. So I got one of the 2s here. And let's see how it goes. And well, I got the 3. And I need another 2. Did not get it. So I have 2 blank blank. And I have my armor shred. So I'm going to start out with this one here, which will... Oh, shoot. I can't do armor shred. I wasn't paying attention. That's the dog ability. I actually wanted this one over here, which is AAB. That's okay. I can do that. Just make a quick little swap like so. Whoo, that was almost bad. So, armor shred 2. He has no armor. And I do 2 damage. And that's going to flip this one over. And as I've done in the past, just so I can keep everything on the lens here easier, I'm just going to mark a little bead on those to mark that it will be exhausted. So I've done 2 damage, and he has no armor. And that gives me a U. Then over here, I'm actually going to do this here. I'm going to do 9 damage, like so, and then I am going to take 3 damage. And question is, where do I want to take that damage? I might have to eat an egg really early on, but we shall see. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one here, 1, 2, and 3. And so I have an S, a U. I think I'm going to go ahead and activate an SSU, which will give me +1 damage to all my attacks next round. Then, at the end of this round, I'm going to take 1 damage. So everything is now actually exhausted. So I'm actually going to have to eat an egg in between. Nom nom nom. And get everything back. So really, it's not a terrible start, but it's not a good start. All right, so jumping back in here. Here we go. So all my attacks are +1 this next round. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 6s here for the Shadow Elf tongue. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I got the top one instead. I'm going to go 4, 5, 6 here. So that's going to be the top. And if I can get another 4, 5, 6, I can actually activate this twice. So I got 2 rolls to pull another 4 here. Boom, there it is. So I get to activate this one twice. So that's going to be 8 damage, plus 1 more for each attack. That will be enough to take it out. Fight over. And this one is, oh man, that was money. I've actually never gotten to use this Shadow Elf tongue before. That was awesome. Then on defeat, the bear looks up from the ground and makes an effort to talk. Sun egg for Bay. B. We'll help you now. We'll hope not now. So I can give a yellow egg to this bear, and he'll give me 2 armor later on in the game. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. There we go. So now I have him just chilling out to be used whenever I want. So moving on, trying to figure out where these eggs are coming from, what's happening, and boom, I go right into a trap. So I can discard a pink egg to jump straight to card 7. Otherwise, roll 2 dice and add their values together. Okay, I don't want to burn all of my eggs, so I'm going to take the roll. Ooh, 5. That's not promising. I escape, but find in my horror that one of your eggs was left behind anyway, and no amount of searching. Find it, lose 1 egg. Ah! Doink. All right. Event. Forest Elf. Lots of story here. So, in this particular event, this elf gives me something that we can eat, and it makes us think, oh, we don't want to eat these eggs. But he's like, no, no, no. the cravings are going to come back. So now I have a choice. So I can give the elf 2 pink eggs and set this card aside, which if I do that at the end of the round, each round I get to make an attack dealing damage equal to the number of powers activated each round. So for me, maybe 2. Or I can throw this away to kind of block all of the damage that I might take. So that's pretty money. So I think I'm going to do that, because what I also am going to do is I can decide to go through the forest and jump right to card 42, which is a huge skip here, which also, I'm happy to do that because it gives you a few less spoilers while still kind of giving you the idea of what's going on here. So I think I'm going to do that. So, ooh, yep. So I have both of these cards set aside. I'm jumping straight to card 42. All right, so in this one, there's a raven, and basically I start going through deja vu. So I had to put this card aside, and every time I encounter a boss card, I'm going to put a token on it, or in this case, a die, again, just so it's a little easier for you all to see what's going on. And after the boss card, I roll one of my dice, and if I wind up with equal or lower, in this case a 1 and a 1, then I have to fight the boss card yet again. And after you have to re-encounter 3 cards, then this is going to go away. Meanwhile, I get to deal with an alligator. So in this next one, it says eggs. It's trying to eat the eggs, but it clearly says it sounds kind of like a person. So, kind of what's going on. And I have lots of these cards are already set aside that I can deal with, but I have no choice but to do this as a fight. And on the surface, it seems pretty easy because it only has 8 health. But the problem is, every time I attack it, I'm going to actually take 2 damage. So it's kind of a hard choice here of what it is that I want to do. So I think really what I'm going to try to target is, if I can get both of these, like right here, 2, 2, 3, that'll do 5 damage. And then if I can get just 2 of a kind, then I can do another 4 damage. And that will be enough to kind of end this. And if I can get this one first, that gives me some adjusting that I can do. So I'm trying to just burn this thing down right away. Okay, that's not promising. I need 2, 2, 3. Well, I got 2 2s. That's good. And I'm just going to do re-roll on the others. Here we go. Oh, I should have kept that 3. That was stupid. Well, I got the 3. And then here I have a 1, 2, 3 sugar. Ooh. So if I put 2 3s down here and the 1, this is going to actually deal 4 damage and let me adjust a die, which will allow me to adjust this one to a 3. So I'll activate this one first with the Shadow Elf Tongue, again my new favorite right here, which right away is going to do 4 damage, bring this down to 2, and allow me to activate this, or adjust this. However, since I targeted the alligator, I'm going to take 2 damage. Boom, boom. Then this other one will take it out, and I believe I still take that special, which means boom, boom, 2 more damage, and both of these are now exhausted, which means I'm going to have to eat another egg, even though after the fight I'll recover 2. Having only 2, I don't like that. So I'm going to nom down on a yellow egg here, and hopefully it'll be okay. So what I'm kind of doing here is, because I jumped ahead towards the end, it gives me a little more confidence in using the eggs. However, now I have to potentially re-encounter this. So if I roll a 1, I didn't. I'd have to re-encounter it. I didn't. And so there's just 1 counter on it. So I was supposed to put the counter on it now. Then, of course, I have a choice. She keeps her mouth open as she retreats, clearly indicating she's interested in your eggs. I can choose one. I can recruit her to my side. I can lose a pink egg and set the card aside. Or I can fight it again. I forgot that it wouldn't have happened because I have this event which actually gave me the ability to do 2 damage each round. But I think I'm going to do it. Oh, I wish I had eaten a yellow egg. I'm going to set this one aside also. So now I got a bear, I got the elf helping me, and I have the alligator. Then boom, I'm jumping right into a trap. Okay, so I've run into sentient flowers. Basically, there's broken eggs here that have brought these flowers to life, and the flowers want more eggs. So I have a choice. Oh gosh. I can either set this card aside, which I don't want to do, because there's not a good bonus here for setting a card aside, or lose 2 eggs. Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to lose 2 more eggs. Doink, doink. Now, this goes up to 2, and we have to see if I have to encounter this again. Oh, crud. I have to encounter it again, and I'm going to lose 2 more eggs. 1, 2. And all of those go away. Ooh. And I encountered it again, so boom, we are back to 1. Oh, crud, I rolled a 1, I have to encounter it again. Ah, boom, boom. All right, if this happens again, then I don't think I can, well, we'll see. So 1, okay, 3. I don't have to encounter the sentient flower trap again. Oh, that was just brutal, just brutal. Then I go, now, next we have a cuckoo. Now, kind of the fun thing about this is the idea that the cuckoo bird messes with eggs anyway. And so this bird is clearly intelligent, is kind of following us, and I know it's following us, but all I can do is set this thing aside. So anytime I attempt to use or lose an egg, I gotta roll a die, and we see what happens. So I might wind up losing a different color egg, I might lose another egg, who knows? So this is crazy. So now I have set aside, I have the cuckoo, I have an alligator, I have the elf event, and I have a hungry bear. Now, boom, right, oh, I have to see if we encounter that again. And it's a 2 is what it should have gone up to. I rolled a 2, means I encounter this again, which ironically works out because encountering that again is fine. So boom, we discard this. And simple enough, now we're past all of that nonsense. And again, it's just fight, fight, fight. So this is why I kind of wanted to skip ahead to the end to kind of just push through. But of course, the story and what's going on is different by doing it this way. But again, you kind of get the idea. Now we're dealing with a badger. And kind of the ridiculous one about this one is this badger knows how to make grenades out of pine cones. And of course, you know, he also has magic. And so he's got 12 health, which, you know, not bad. Because I do at the end of each round get to do damage based on how many attacks I do. And and I have to choose, am I going to dodge, which means my attacks do half damage, but his attacks do half damage, or do I want to just try to kill him and potentially take the extra damage? So I think what I'm going to do here, I think I'm not going to dodge. I'm going to go right after him and see what I can do. And this time, I'm kind of hoping to get both of my strengths activated again, because that's going to allow me to create a potion that'll do 4 more damage. And again, that would be 5, 9, 13, and I could take him out in just one go. So kind of the cool thing about Flazz and Bogg is if you have depending on your combo, you can be very, very powerful if everything goes your way. So let's see if everything can go my way. So I do need, let's see, 4, 5, 6. Well, I got the 4, and I got the 6. So I could try to do that twice, or I could do the 4, 4. Yeah, I'm going to take the 4, 4, and I'm going to put the 3 up here. And so that's going to give me 3 dice. I need to get 2 2s, or a 1 and a 3. A 1 or a 3. That's not good. I got to reroll all 3 of those. Okay, I got, shoot, I did not get it. Didn't get it. Okay. So, well, the other thing I could do, I could just deal myself some damage here. I mean, 9 damage. So that's the only problem. If I do 9 damage to myself, I'm going to take a lot. So what I think I need to do, so I am going to do this. I'm going to use this one here, which is going to allow me to adjust a die by 1. I'm going to make that a 2. Then I have this and this, one of those here. Then I have SS. Well, let's see if that's going to be, well, that's 4 damage. Oh, no, I don't have to, because that's going to be 4 damage for that one. And then I have to activate it, though, to get that second S. So instead, I'm not going to use these dice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over here to get myself an ingredient of my choice, which is an S. So I will have SSS. So that potion will do 4 damage, which knocks them down to 8. This one here is also going to do 4 damage, which knocks them down to 4. And my math was wrong, so I'm going to get hit, but that's okay. Then at the end of my round, my friend here will do 2 damage to it, like so. And now I'm going to get hit with the roll of a single die. I'll roll this wonky die here. 6. Oh, crap. That's going to be 3 damage. And so this one is used. No, sorry, 6 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Hungry Bear to knock that down to 4 damage. And I'm just going to take it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of my cards are flipped. I will eat a yellow egg. And I'm still in the game. All right. Oh, and I'm going to use 3 dice to flip this back over. All right. So basically, I actually don't need to do anything here. I just need to do 2 damage, so it's pretty easy. All right, and let's see. A 2, 2, 3 would do it. Well, there's a 2 and a 3. There we go. And there's a 2. I will use this, and that will do the damage that I need, and that will take care of the badger. Of course, on defeat, he's going to ask me for some eggs. And so this one's tough. This one wants a yellow egg. And so here's the thing. If I do this, I have the ability to basically sacrifice my dice to just roll dice, which are basically throwing grenades at him, and I think I have to do it. This is, oh gosh, I need to stop wasting my eggs. I do this every single time. So now I have a choice. I come across a sign that says, insert egg for a great prize. Written as only an animal can write it, as you can see on the top corner there, and I have to choose. I can just correct the spelling on the sign and walk away, nothing will happen. Or I can put an egg in there, I lose an egg, and I roll a die. And of course, I forgot, I had to do the cuckoo when I ate an egg. I had to roll a d6, a 2, so nothing happens. So it was no big deal. But here, I can put an egg in, and if it's a pink egg, I add 2 to my roll. If it's a 1 through 4, I just lose it. A 5 or 6, I can set this card aside and roll a die, and nothing might happen. And I don't have enough eggs to do this, so I'm just going to walk on by, correct the spelling, someone else can do it, which brings me into the next one. So now we come across a huge swarm of insects, and as I stop and think, it becomes obvious that these insects are talking. There's a language, and I just know that if I just use some eggs, it's all going to be fine, and I can figure it out. So if I have 10 or fewer eggs, I find I can separate the different voices. I can learn how to bypass a dangerous encounter ahead. I can jump right to 50. I only have 5 eggs. So yes, I'm going to skip 49 and go right to 50 into a trap. So here these birds come out, the thrush, and they claim that they are the guardians of this forest. And they say, well, we'd love a donation. We won't make you give us a donation. We'd love a donation. And so I can offer a contribution, lose a pink egg, or I could lose 2 yellow eggs and give this card to, well, myself, and then I can discard this to double my damage for a round. And this is where if I had not given eggs to a different card earlier, there'd be an effect here. And I think, oh gosh, do I want to do this? I'm going to do it. I'm going to give them 2 eggs to hopefully hit harder. So first, my first yellow egg that I'm going to give away here, of course, I have to roll the die for the cuckoo. A 4 swaps the color of the egg, boink, boink, and then I'll give the second yellow egg, and nothing will happen. So now I have this, and now I can do extra damage. So now I got a lot of ways to do a lot of damage as I move into the next one, and I'm getting close to the final fight. So I find a place where I can rest. Again, these eggs are just kind of calling to me. And so had I not dealt with the thrush guards, They would make my life harder, but I did, so I don't have to worry about them. And also I have the Raven and the Cuckoo, or at least I still have the Cuckoo that I was dealing with, and now they also fall asleep on these super restful rocks, and I can actually get rid of this particular card. And moving on. And here we go. We made it to the fight. I'm very low on eggs, but I also have a lot of bonus abilities. I'm doing extra 2 each round. I have the alligator, which I can hurt myself to hurt the foe. I have the thrush guards, which will let me double damage of an attack. I have lots of things I can do here. And so there's this huge egg with this duck-like creature, and the duck cracks open the egg, and out's gonna come this big boss flamingo. So I only have to do 15 damage, but I'm gonna take an extra damage per egg that I eat in this battle. So again, I gotta do this fast, and I think I'm going to be able to do this. Now this is actually interesting because this is the best position I've ever been in using Flazz and Bogg on this particular quest. So things are going really, really well here. Problem is it has an armor of 4. And unfortunately, I also have to deal with the stupid duck. But luckily, the duck doesn't have any of its abilities, just straight damage. So I have to do 15 to the duck, and 15 to the flamingo. And the problem is the duck does a lot of damage. So I think the plan here is probably die, but we're going to do our best. And I think I'm going to start and try to just burn down one of them. So I do have some armor shred, so I need to try to get gold dust so I can shred away the armor here. If I shred away the armor, maybe I can do, or shred away the armor here. If I do that, and I hit for the 5, and I do the double damage, that'll get it really close to being hurt. So that's kind of the plan. I'm trying to get, or gosh, maybe I just do the 3 damage, and if I do get the armor shred, I can do double damage, just wipe it out. I think that's the plan. I'm going to try to get Warrior's Blood. I'm going to have to eat an egg, but that's going to be okay, and we're going to see what happens. That's not what I wanted. So all I need is 2. I didn't get any 2s. But I do want to try to get that armor shred. Let's see. AAB. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll take those 2 there. Oh, come on. Give me a 2. Give me a 2. Whew! Got it. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to start here. Armor Shred 2, which will remove 2 of those. Then I'm going to actually do the 2 damage up here to the duck. And I think I can do that. But that's with my rose petal. Ah, my least favorite ingredient. I always prick my finger on the god's cursed thorns, even when I wear gloves. Boom. So that's going to be a U for me. And over here, that's going to be 9, but I'm going to use the Thrush Guard here, which is going to make it 18, minus 2 for the armor. Boom! That is it for the flamingo. Of course, this goes, and I have to take 3 damage, so I will take 1, 2, 3. Then I have an S and a U and something of my choice. So what I'm looking for is some way to prevent some damage, but it doesn't. Look, I need DDD to block 3. I have an SUD. So for every 5 damage the target player deals next round, I then prevent a damage. So nothing I can do about that, so I will use that potion. And so for every 5 damage I do, I will block 1 next round. So I have to take 2 damage, so I'm going to take this damage here. I'm going to completely lose this ability. I'm going to just flip that over. Then I have to eat an egg, nom nom nom, to heal all the rest of these. So now I just got to do, at the end of the round, my elf friend right there. Now, I could have discarded the elf to not take any damage, but I didn't do that. Now I'm thinking I'm probably going to use my badger, my badger, to kind of throw some bombs at that in a minute. But let's see how this goes. Oh, this is going so well. I mean, I'm almost at egg, so maybe it's not going well. But here we go. And I think I'm going to try to. I think I want to try to hit this again, where I'll hurt myself, but I'll do 9 damage. Then I'll use my other 3 dice to use the badger. I think that's my plan. This should work, assuming I get what I'm chasing, and I did. So boom, whoops. So I got a 2 and 2 dice. Then I'm going to use these 3 dice here on the badger, and for spending 3 dice, I get to roll 2 dice and do that much damage to it. So here we go. That is 9 damage. And just like that, I will now do another 9 damage here. Boom, and deal myself 3. 1, 2, and 3. And just like that, for the first time ever, I have whooped this using Flazz and Bogg. I've been able to beat the Flamingo with some of the other characters, but this really went well. I had a good combination of abilities, and anyhow, so let's go ahead and get some story. Of course, now we have the time parasite. So I've wounded myself. I've used a bunch of my items. I have 2 items, or 2 abilities that are exhausted, and 1 more that is just gone. And now I have this time parasite. And so both of these birds kind of warp and change into the big final form boss. This is the best I've ever done with Flazz and Bogg here. So we're going to see what happens. So he's got 25 health. I'm kind of got to take the same plan I had before and just try to burn him down, hurting myself in the attempt. So the problem here is... Oh, and there we go. Would have consumed that in between. So the problem that I have here is I only have, well, this thing gets stronger if I eat eggs. But of course, I only have 1 egg left, and if I eat that last egg, I lose anyway. So I don't think it's possible for me to win this. Let's see, maybe if I do both of these, it'll be 14 damage. And yeah, I think there's not much I can do here. But we're going to try. We're going to see what happens here. So, of course, the other thing I could have done... Well, nope, I did it. I ate that egg in between. I'm down to 1. Here we go. So I think we'll start out. See, I could flip over. He has no armor. I'm not worried about armor. If I let Bogg flip, I can do extra damage. All right, I think that's what we're going to do. Bogg's going to wind up flipping, so I'm going to get to do even extra stuff. So I need to get... I just need a 2. All right, so 2 and 2 dice. And this is going to flip for an S. Now I need to get 4, 5, 6 is what I need. There's the 5. And here's my second roll. I got the 4. This is big. I gotta get I need a 6, a 5, or a 4 here, or I am SOL. Got it. So not exactly what I wanted, but I can. Where's the other die? Oh, there it is. Oh, I did not re-roll this die because I needed. Oh no, I did get what I wanted. So there we go. So I got 5, 5, 4. Bogg is flipped. So I have an epic potion, 4 S's. That's going to do 5 damage. Boom. All my attacks next round are going to deal +1, though I'm not going to have many attacks left over. So that's 5. Then right here, I'm doing 3 damage to myself, but Bogg is flipped, so that's -1. And then, oh, I was going for that 4, 5, 6. Shoot. So I'm going to take 2 damage here. That's fine. So I'm going to do 9 damage, which is going to put this here down to 1. Then I take 2, which is I'm going to let this one here go. And this one here, I'm going to do 4 damage. Oh, I have to take another damage somewhere. Shoot. I'll take the damage on this one. There we go. And I'll do 4 more damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that puts this here. Then I do 2 damage from my elf friend. And I just gotta find a way to do some damage. Don't quite know how to do it, but we'll see. Then I'm gonna take 3. So if I take 3 damage, okay, so now I have to discard the elf who was helping me. Okay. Or, ooh. Okay, I think I can do this. So those are both exhausted. I can't eat an egg, so these are the only 2 abilities I have left. So I need... If I can get both of these, I will win. I think because I have a cunning plan. All right, he's got 5 health left. Here we go. So, I got no 1s. I did get my AAB, so I do have 2 3s, so I'll do that. Oh, wait, I need that 3 over here. So I do have 2 4s, which I'll put here. I'll roll these 3 again. Got no 1s. All right, well, roll them a 3rd time. I only got 1 1. Shoot. Well, let's see. I could prevent damage. No, that's not. All right, so I'm going to do AAB here, and that will deal 2 damage, which will put it down to 3. And it doesn't exhaust. And sadly, that's it. So he has 3 left. But this ability does not exhaust. That's really important. And so now I have the alligator. I can take, for every damage I take, I do that much damage to him. So I'm going to take 1 damage, 2 damage. This doesn't exhaust, that's fine. But then 3 damage, which is boom, get out of here, West Todd, you lost. What? And I did all of it without having to eat any eggs, which was just money. And that brings us to the end. These eggs kind of fade away. Things kind of go back to normal, except it's kind of sad because as you're going through, all these animals we see are kind of stuck in their own weird time loops and things. So maybe positive, maybe negative in the very catharsis world kind of way. But there you have it, folks. That is Flazz and Bogg, which I just adore the way it's put together. I know I got to be a part of it with kind of the ideas. It just works so well. I also really like this flamingo quest. I always like the ones that you have the storyline that you're moving through. One of the fun things is like I jumped way ahead. Had I not jumped way ahead, there would be a different type of boss that I would be fighting in a different way. And I really enjoy it. So now I'm gonna just kind of jump over and talk to you a little bit about kind of some of the new stuff that's going on and kind of talk about this just a little bit. But okay, so let's talk about this box. And the reason I'm actually talking about this at the end is I am not being paid for this playthrough. The publisher did send me this copy a little early, and so I want to kind of just talk a little bit about this specific one. He offered to send me my copy of Divine Wrath as a whole early, but I knew I could not get to it in the time frame he needed. So I did just get this one box so I could kind of play around with it. And of course I looked at the rules, which lets me kind of look at some of these new abilities like Armor Shred. There's some that are in this Flazz and Bogg deck that you did not see, like Reflect. And there's all these kind of, not all, but there's some new abilities that kind of go with it. And all of which I think are very interesting. But specifically, I want to talk about my thoughts on this character. Obviously, I love the art of the character, and I mean, I paid for that art. So let me be clear, when it said the publisher gave me the opportunity to help with this character, it was at a great discount, because you could go onto the campaign and do a pledge to create a character, and he offered to, if I basically paid for the artwork, that I could create a character. And so just full understanding, this is why I'm specifically talking about this character. Obviously, I love the artwork. I've been talking about the artwork for a while. I think the artwork's fantastic. But more interest to me is the gameplay, because I gave a pretty broad idea. I was like, in the dog, and there's a whole backstory to it, and I'm hoping the story is something that gets included. I think it's going to be on kind of a dock in the middle of this box. But the whole kind of story of this goblin met this dog, and the dog just became his friend, and now the dog helps. It's like, oh gosh, I need this herb, and the dog runs off and gets it. And that's all I gave him. But then what he did was he pulled together this new mechanic of having specific types of cards, the strength, the utility, the defense, and depending on how you use them, that's going to activate different abilities. And the way that plays out in the game, and it was a little bit different than what you saw, because I had to do damage, but in one of the other games that I played with someone else, I didn't have to do all this kind of damage, so I was able to do some other things. Okay, I'm going to make this happen so I can do a defend here, or this happen here, and it's going to give you reflect. And it's very, very clever, but at the same time is clearly effective, as it showed in the particular game that I played there. I also really think it's interesting how this particular box eschews many of the normal rules of the game. For example, usually you spend a morale and you can flip your roll back over, but not with Flazz and Bogg. You have to spend 3 dice. And speaking of the 3 dice, I think it's really cool that they all cost 3 dice. So you're really strapped with what it is that you're able to do. It makes flipping it over very important. I think it is an intensely well-designed character. I really, really like it. To me, it immediately shoots up to one of my favorite characters in the game. It's right up there with the I can't remember the name now. I want to say it's called Fizz, but I did a video with him. He's the one that had, because kind of like the gnome and the ogre kind of running around together. Right up there with that one. I really, really like it. Now, moving into the box itself, I think this is a really cool box. It's a really cool box. I think the adventure kind of chapter story thing you're going through, I think is a thing that was proven in previous sagas in the previous box. I think it works really well. It's fun. You're making a choice. You're skipping ahead. You're moving around. And there's different ways that the game can end as you go through. I think that's great. But the addition of the 2 types of eggs that you're dealing with, the yellow and the pink, and you're constantly facing this choice of, gosh, and what am I going to do? Am I going to spend it or not? And I spent them like crazy in the game I just did, which on the one hand made me win, but on the other hand put me in the position where I might lose. And so, anyhow, I think this box is great, this Saga box. I'm very excited about it, and I'm looking forward to some of the other stuff when I get a chance to play it. But there you have it, folks. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.